What's up, guys? We are back. We got a really good card, in my opinion. We got Derek Lewis, man, the Black Beast versus JDS Junior Dos Santos. The main event is not the best main event, but like I still think it's a pretty good fight. I think that there's a lot better fights, in my opinion, on the card. We get the co-main event, Millender versus Zaleski. We got Nico Price versus Tim Means. And before we talk about the card, we're gonna do a little recap. And Kelton, how you doing? And what is your favorite fight on this card?
I'm doing great, man. As for this card, I mean, let's be honest. Compared to last week, we got a little spoiled last week. This week, it's a little bit of a calm down period. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people just completely skip this card altogether. But knowing me and you, that won't be the case with us. We will definitely be watching this card. We've put in hours of tape for this card, and I have 3 plays. You have 3 plays as well. It's not the best, but I think we both found our value, man. I'm excited to talk about these ones for sure. As for favorite fight on the card, how can you not say Curtis Millender versus Zaleski Dos Santos?
Wow.
That's a real main event right there.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about. I mean, the main event we don't really have to talk about that much. I mean, we could, but I mean, John Jones just went out there and handled business. I'm surprised he went to a decision, to be honest. You can touch on it more if you want to. The fight I want to talk about the most is the co-main event. Man, going into the fight, I bet Usman, but I wasn't really a big fan of him. There's something about Usman, like his trash talk and his style. Like I just wasn't a big fan. And after that fight, like even though I bet on him, like yeah, man, he's real. He's a real deal. I don't think he's gonna be losing his belt for a long time. I do think Colby probably has the best chance. I don't think Askren has a good chance. I think he would dominate Askren. But yeah, Usman went out there and won every round. He looked really good. I had 3 units at cash at plus 155. And that's probably the last time I'm ever going to get Usman at plus 155 unless he fights like Stylebender or something like that. But I doubt like he would ever be 155 again. But yeah, also before I let you talk, I also won on Johnny Walker and then Edmund. Johnny Walker went out there and looked really good against Misha, and then he tore his shoulder. Pretty funny. I think he'll be back in a month while I'm training again. But yeah, he's really good. I'm not gonna fade him until like, he fights the weak guys. I don't even know if I'm gonna fade him fights the weak guys because I heard that him and Gus might be in the works. And pre-tape, like I know you might call me crazy, but I got Johnny Walker there. And then also Edmund versus Charles Bird. I mean, we called that, bro. We're like what 6-7-1 consensus bets. He went out there and dominated him, and he's good. Like I don't want to hear people say that he's not a can crusher anymore. Or he sucks because he trains with Edmund and all that. This kid's legit. Like this kid actually might be like a star in the making, and I think he needs to fight like a GM3 next. Give him some good veteran like that so he can put on his resume. I think he beats GM3 too. So what about you, Calvin? How were your bets, and who do you feel? How do you feel about Edmund?
Hey, how many units did you win?
Oh, okay. So overall, I won 9.37 on the night. So I won 3-0.
Very, very nice, man. Yeah, I as well had a really nice winning weekend. I won 7.06 units. I went 4 wins, 2 losses out of my 6 bets. The big one for me, man, Weili Zhang cashes for 3 units there, minus 140. I wish I would have been a little more patient, got that minus 120, but hey, she got the job done for me, dude. She is a serious prospect. I was telling you and the guys we talked to like all week how good this girl is. Like, honestly, man, she's so dynamic. She's got a lot of tools on the feet, and like seriously, she's a different level than most of these girls. Like, I mean it when I say it. It's kind of like watching a guy in there. Like, seriously, she just had Tisha beat, man, on the mat, and I personally scored at 30-26 for Weili Zhang. If you go look at that 3rd round, she outstruck Tisha Torres. I know most of those were ground strikes, but if I see 70 strikes landed to 8 and 3.5 minutes of that round was Weili Zhang on top. I mean, with the new scoring, I scored that at 10-8 round. I was surprised no one else scored that as well. But nevertheless, that chick is for real. I lost 2 units on Alejandra Perez. It was a really close fight, but I think they got it right with Stamen there. I'd take that shot at plus 175 all day long again. Diego Sanchez turning back the clock, man. I made that play on the podcast with Clint. That was a good one. 1 unit cashes for 2.2. Mickey Gall is just not UFC level, man. And Diego Sanchez still has enough to where he can thrash around these non-UFC levels like Craig White and Mickey Gall. And Well, we'll see what happens with his next matchup. I don't know. I wanted to see Diego Sanchez versus BJ Penn, but we saw BJ Penn just got a fight today against Clay Guida. I have some interesting thoughts on that. You already talked about Edmond. That dude is, I mean, at 21 years old, the sky's the limit for that dude. Like, he's huge for the weight class. Did you see the size difference between him and Bird? Like, I can't believe the line was that good, man. So that cashed. I had 2.5 units on the Chiastin Mazzani fight. Doesn't go to decision, and that cast in the first 2 minutes. That was really easy. Macy's good, man. Macy has a lot of potential. She's still green, but
Chase on, bro.
Chase on. We can see the potential, man. We can see the potential, and Macy chase on. And lastly, I took a 1 unit shot on the under 1.5 rounds in the Diego Sanchez Mickey Gall fight, and that came really close. Diego got that finish about 2 minutes earlier. Would have been a lot better for me. But yeah, man. Anything else on this card? We didn't even talk about the Munoz Garbrandt fight, man. I mean,
God.
Cody Garbrandt, go ahead.
Shout out to Ricky, man, because Ricky bet Cody or not Cody, he bet Munoz, but that was a good bet because anyone that got Munoz at that line, what is he, plus 150? That was, yeah, I didn't see that coming, man. So shout out to him.
Hey, did you see the video of Bruce Buffer? Did you see the video of Bruce Buffer
He's so
reacting? Pissed, yeah. Bruce Buffer had some money on Cody Garbrandt there, and dude, I don't blame him. Cody Garbrandt was looking like the much better fighter. He just decided to brawl when he had Pedro hurt, and Pedro's way more durable. It's just how it is, man. Like, you don't brawl with a guy that's more durable than you. I know Cody's just a hothead, man. I don't know if that'll ever change. If Cody fights guys with good chins that hit hard, he's probably going to lose, man. Like, if Cody fights John Lineker, give me, my house on John Lineker in that fight for sure.
Oh, I had Lineker, even, before, even before this fight, bro, I had Lineker over Cody all
before
day.
Cody even won the title. Yeah, they've been talking about that fight forever.
Hey, Dawson or No Love? Who do you got?
Dodson versus No Love. I'd say probably No Love. That's probably one he could get.
I got Dodson, bro. I think Dodson would KO
him. Dude, we didn't even talk about Askren, man. How about that shit? I don't know how to feel about Herb Dean. Refereeing's the hardest job in the world. Herb Dean saw an arm go limp, and he did what he thought he had to do. Shit happens. Credit for Askren for even locking in that bulldog choke. That dude has the tightest squeeze. It's so crazy the way that dude just clasps onto you and you just cannot get him off. Ben Askren is he's a special fighter, man. And I'm so glad he's finally in the UFC. Zabit versus Jeremy. That's another one. So many good fights on this card. I thought Zabit, some people are kind of trashing Zabit's performance. Dude, Jeremy Stevens is a long-time ranked guy. Look at all the wins that guy has on his record. Jeremy Stevens is known for going out there and knocking out prospects like Josh Emmett and Korean Superboy. So, yeah, he may have lost a round, but I was super impressed with Zabit. Johnny Walker, first-round KO over Serkinov, just timed it perfectly. He's kind of an idiot for injuring himself after the fight, though, and I think that's it, man. Oh, Hannah Cifers. Props to her for getting a UFC victory. I know you are a fan of Cifers.
Yeah, she won that fight, bro. A lot of people are saying she didn't win. She definitely won that fight. Beyond didn't do trash in that fight. Nothing. Brianna's striking just non-existent. Cifers, if you look at Cifers' face, after the fight, she definitely got busted up, but she definitely won that fight. And I'm pretty pissed that I didn't bet her because I picked her, but I didn't bet her just because I wasn't that confident. But yeah, shout out to Guru because Guru bet Cipher, so that was a good bet. One more thing I want to say, Chase on. I heard that she got her fight booked already. So I heard that I think after the fight, the matchmakers went up to her and gave her a fight. So she has to be fighting someone good. It has to be, honestly, bro, it has to be someone in the top 10. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Aspen Lab, to be honest. That would be a crazy fight if it happens. But I think she needs to fight someone like Boetsch Kahea or, give her some easy girl, because Aspen Lab is not easy. I probably got Aspen Lab there pre-tape, but give her someone like Boetsch Kahea or someone like
Lena Landsberg.
Yeah. Oh my God. We'll be talking about her later. So, you want to get started on this card?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
All right, man. Because the first fight, man, this is definitely an interesting fight. We got Dan the Hitman Moret versus Alex White, and Yeah, man, I gotta go with the dog here, man. Alex fight, man, just I know that I bet him last fight versus Jim Miller, and that was a terrible performance. You go out there and get dropped by Jim Miller. Jim Miller, like now, like the guy's at the end of his career, and they get tapped out like that. Alex White just looked terrible out there. And then if you go look at his record, he beat Mitch Clark. I mean, come on, that's Mitch Clark's garbage. He's not even in the UFC anymore. He actually did look, pretty decent against Kraus and Tony Martin, but a huge hole in this kid's game, man, is his ground game. He has no ground game. It's like non-existent. He gets taken down at will. And yeah, you can say Moret got KO'd last fight, against Gilbert Burns. But if you watch that fight closely, he actually did not look bad. He actually had some moments in that fight. He hit Gilbert Burns pretty good. Gilbert Burns bit down on his mouthpiece and then said, "I'm gonna take this guy down." Then in the second round, he went out there and knocked him out. Moret's a 145er. This might be his first fight, I think, 155. He's pretty big, though, and he's jacked. Alex White's a former 45er. They're both small 55ers. But what I think is going to happen is that I think Alex White is the better striker. I think, I think they're both chinny. I know Moret's been knocked out twice, and both the KOs were really bad against Gilbert Burns, and then he also got knocked out against Barcelos, who's now a bantamweight. But Barcelos is a huge guy. I mean, he was a pretty big featherweight. I just think Moret's going to get him down. Moret has eight. He has 8 wins by sub. He has really good grappling. Trains at MMA Lab. Alex White, I don't even know where he's training at now. He was training, I think, with Kraus, but I think he left. So I got to go with the guy that's the better ground game, man. So I'm going to go with the Dan the Hitman Moret, and I think he's going to get him down. He's going to tap him out, man. He's going to send Alex White his walking papers. What about you?
Yeah, this is a really tough one to call, man. I don't quite know what happened. Well, I guess I do know, and that's what I've been thinking about all week is really what's with Alex White's last performance against Jim Miller. Because if you look at him against Tony Martin, I know he was getting taken down and held on most of that fight, but when it was playing out on the feet, Alex White was whooping Tony Martin on the feet. And same for the great James Krause fight. When James Krause wasn't taking him down and holding him down, he was whooping James Krause on the feet. And then we get Jim Miller. Jim Miller just comes out and beats him. But I think what that more of is Alex White was bringing it to those two guys I mentioned. He was bringing the fight to those guys. Jim Miller came out with that vet game plan, and he thought he could bring it to White before White brought it to him. And, hey, it worked, man. He knocked him out within 90 seconds. Props to the legend Jim Miller. Now, at least Alex White gets a big step down here, and Dan Moret, who I'm not exactly high on. I don't have a verdict on him, whether I think he's UFC level or not. This is probably going to be the fight to decide that. I definitely don't see Moret hit. I mean, who knows? Maybe Jim Miller changed Alex White's life and Moret comes out and gets a knockout here, but I definitely would not recommend striking with Alex White because Alex White still has power. Alex White is still a good striker, and I don't think Dan Moret's going to be able to really bring the fight to Alex the way Jim the vet did. So Moret needs to go for the takedowns. I think that obviously there's a really good chance he could get them. We know White has those holes in his game, but I don't know, man. If you look at those guys that have been taking him down recently, like I mentioned, it's the James Krauses and Tony Martins of the world, the guys with winning UFC records. I'm not so quite sure I can trust Moret yet. So even with this skid that Alex White is on, I think he is the rightful favorite, and I probably line it just around where the line is now, like minus 140 White. So I actually think White will be able to knock Moret out on the feet here before Moret is able to utilize his wrestling-based game plan, man. So I'm not confident at all, but I'm going to go with Alex White. I'll say he gets it done by late first round KO.
One thing I want to mention real quick is, you can say that Alex White had success, which he did against Tony Martin and Kraus, but I mean, they're both at 170 now. I mean, that was definitely the best decision that they made. I think at 155, they're definitely not reaching their full potential. So I think at 170, that's the division that they should be in. So you could say Alex White, yeah, he had success, but he's having success against guys that were not doing good at 155. That they're better off at 170.
For sure, man. So moving on to the next fight. This is one I've been thinking about a lot, actually. This is Alex Morono minus 185 taking on Zack Otto plus 160. There was a point earlier this week where Alex Morono was the biggest favorite on the card, and money has come in on Zack Otto. And I gotta say, at that plus 180 range, I definitely understand taking the shot on Zach Otto, because I don't know, man. I'm just not that sold on Morono. I thought he had a good performance last time. I like how he's with Fortis, and it looks like he's making improvements now. But I don't know. There's that Jordan Mean fight really sticks to my mind. I mean, I guess maybe he redeemed himself, but I don't know. Zach Otto just won a fight against Dwight Grant. We saw how good Dwight Grant looked in his last fight. I think Otto, if he comes in with the right game plan here, I think if he slows the fight down on the feet, he could actually tag up Morono, maybe land the bigger shots, or land takedowns. I think that Otto can take down Morono and control him for at least 2 of the 3 rounds, but Murano is probably the rightful favorite here, man. Otto's slow. Otto's getting old, honestly. He's really not that good. So Morono, probably with the higher ceiling at this point. I'm going to go with him by, I'll say, 29-28 decision. Probably pieces up Otto on the feet for a majority of the fight.
Let's be honest, man. Between me and you, and between most people on MMA Twitter and most of the handicappers out there, Otto didn't win shit. Otto did not beat Dwight Grant. Alex Murano, 100%. I'm Alex Murano. Dwight Grant, 100% won that fight. Otto got the hometown decision. That was not a win. He didn't do anything in that fight besides get dropped. About the matchup here, I just don't think Zach Otto's that good. I don't think he's UFC material. Yeah, he knocked out Mike Pyle. Congrats. You're knocking out the guy that probably has the worst chin to ever be in the UFC. Alex Morono, I think he's chinny. I do think Otto's chinny as well. I think Otto is definitely more chinnier than Alex Morono. He does have a clear path to victory. He could definitely take down Morono. But the thing is, I think Morono is just so much faster on the feet. I think he has better striking. He throws bombs. He really does. He's not really the most technical guy, but the guy throws haymakers. And he is a BJJ black belt. We haven't really seen it that much, but I do think Otto could take him down. Jordan Mean took him down. That's how he won the fight. But Morono looked pretty good against Kenan Song last fight. And Kenan Song, me and you actually picked Kenan Song to beat Morono. And Morono dropped Nico Price as well until Nico Price broke him. But yeah, I got to go with the guy that I think is more durable and the guy that has better striking. So I got to go with Alex Morono. He gets a pretty good right hand. I think he's, one thing I want to mention too is, can you hear me by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, my headphones are a little messed up. But there's a lot of bad blood going in this fight. So they both don't like each other. They both Otto, I think, called him out, said that he's an easy win. Morono didn't like that he got called out. So I think Morono actually could go out there and fight really aggressive, which is smart because Otto just, he's not that good in the feet. I think Otto quits when he gets in a bad position. You saw that fight with the Weech. The Weech hit him, and then he just turtled up and just quit instantly. And then against Northcutt, you're beating Northcutt, literally beating him, and then you just gas out and just quit again. He's a quitter. He's been KO'd 3 times. So Morono's been knocked out twice too, but I just think Otto's a quitter, man. So I got to go with Alex Morono, and I think Alex Morono's a good DraftKings play, even at the current price. I do think he's going to get a knockout. Actually, he could get a guillotine too. He has a pretty good guillotine. We saw it against Josh Berkman, even though it's against Josh Berkman. But the kid's a black belt, bro, in BJJ. Don't sleep on that. So next fight we got Louis Smolka versus Matt Dangerous Schnell, and I'm gonna let you go first because I hear you have a play.
Yeah, man. This is my first play of the night. I have 2 units on Louis Smolka here, man. I love what he's overcome. I love where Louis Smolka is at in his career right now. He came a long way, man. He went on that 4-fight skid. He got cut from the UFC. He was battling with alcohol addiction. And you know what the guy did, man? And we're still talking about a 25, 26-year-old kid at this point. But you know what he does after getting cut from the UFC? He beats his addiction. He bites down on his mouthpiece and grinds and wins fights on the regional scene, makes his way back to the UFC, and gets a finish in his last fight. And honestly, man, despite the opponent, I thought that physically and skill-wise, I thought Smolka looked the best he ever has ever, man. And I thought the takedowns he was landing in that fight, he's really putting together that part of the game where we all know Smolka's an amazing submission grappler. He can scramble for days. He's a tough-ass Hawaiian. He has great cardio. Now he's starting to develop the takedowns to where he can get the fight to where he wants to. We know he's probably not the best striker in the UFC, although I do think he has tools there for sure, and we'll talk about that and other ways to win besides his grappling here, considering the opponent. I'm impressed with Smolka, man. With Matt Schnell, I'm going to be honest. This is another guy who I'm not quite sure is quite UFC level. I mean, I know he's on a 2-fight win streak here, but he's not beating the best of competition. This is a huge step up from the Marco Psycho Beltrans and the Naoki Inoue's, the 20-year-old Japanese kids. This is a long way from that, man. I mean, we're talking Smolka was like literally in the title picture only a few years ago before he lost to Brandon Moreno. Like, he was out there winning UFC main events. He was out there finishing Ben Wen's a good fighter. That's a top 15 flyweight right there. Like, Louis Smolka has high level wins. Matt Schnell has, I mean, let's be honest, hasn't quite sniffed anything near that yet. So it kind of blew my mind to see Smolka at a plus money there. So I took the 2-unit shot at plus 110. I'm feeling pretty good about that line right now, man. He's the minus 120 favorite now, and I think that's only going to go up from here. I see him closing around minus 150. That's where I line him. And then the big thing with Schnell, man, the X factor with Schnell, like, he's a pretty decent grappler, but thing is, matchup wise here, I feel like Smolka hasn't beat there. I feel like Smolka will outwork him on the mat, and he's just playing better there. So on the mat, I favor Smolka. On the feet, I mean, Schnell's not that great of a striker. I don't see him going out there and blowing Smolka out of the water like a Nicolau did by any means. I think the striking exchanges are actually going to play out pretty close. And considering that this guy, Matt Schnell, has literally one of the worst chins I have ever seen in the UFC. And if you've gone and watched this guy's fights, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If Louis Smolka goes out there and lands another sidekick like he did on Richie Vasulik, don't be surprised if he goes out there, drops Matt Danger, and then it just locks up a sub. I like Louis Smolka to win this fight by finish. I'm not going to count on him dropping him because let's be honest, he probably doesn't have the biggest advantage on the feet. This is probably a step up from that Richie Vasulik fight. I think that's the last time Smolka actually won by knockout. I think he TKO'd Ben Wen, but that was ground and pound. Mm-hmm. I like Smolka to land those takedowns he's been working on and to wrap something up on Schnell. Schnell looks lost on the mat sometimes, man. I mean, have you ever really seen Tim Elliott blow through someone in the first round before? Who else blew through? Hector Sandoval. Have you ever seen Hector Sandoval blow through anyone like that in the first round before? I'm not sold on Matt Schnell. He should not have been the favorite against Smolka, man. I like my line. Let's go.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I got Matt Dangerous Schnell here. You know, I'm not playing it. I do think it's a really close fight. There's a reason why I'm not betting it. I hope you cash because I'm not playing it. But yeah, man. You know, Smolka, man, he's definitely came a long way. Except on the feet, though, man. I don't think his striking is that good. I really don't. He has good pressure. He's definitely relentless. Like he goes after the takedown at will. Like you saw that last fight with Samarju. Samarju really, got dominated in that fight. But Samarju's, the guy has been tapped out like 4 times. Danger definitely is chinny for sure. His chin hasn't been tested the last 2 fights. He's definitely ate the shots and, didn't even get dropped or anything or even hurt once. Yes, this is against us, Beltran and, Naoki. You were pretty high in Naoki too until you lost him at that last time. But I thought he looked pretty good last fight against Naoki. I think he won every round, honestly. Like, it was a split. That wasn't a split. I thought he definitely won that fight. I think he's way better on the feet than Smolka, man. I really do. And you can talk about chinny or like all that stuff. Danger's definitely chinny for sure. The TKO loss against Sandoval was really embarrassing. Like those hammer fists are kind of weak. But then again, Smolka hasn't been knocked out, but this dude takes damage, man. This guy's been hurt so many fights. Look at the Kyle Estrada fight. Who's Kyle Estrada? Dude, some bum. And Kyle Estrada dominated him in the first round. Kyle Estrada almost finished him multiple times. Kyle Estrada dropped him, bro, like twice. Almost had him on skates. Like, dude, Smolka looked like he was gonna die out there. But one thing about Smolka is, he has a lot of heart. He's tough. He's definitely, has more heart than Danger. But the thing is with Smolka is all this damage he's been taking. I mean, let's talk about the Nikolai fight. Nikolai dominated him, and that put on a beating in that fight against him. Got dominated against Boer, got dominated against Tim Elliott. The last fight, Samarju definitely had some big shots on the ground too, even, but I mean, Samarju really didn't do anything in that fight, to be honest. But all this damage he's taking is going to add up. I think he's going to get KO'd stiff really soon. I don't know if Danger's going to do it. Danger doesn't really have, a lot of power on the feet, but mark my words, he's going to get KO'd soon. You can't just take all that damage and not get knocked out. I think he's way more technical on the feet than Smolka. I think he has good striking. The kid has a lot of wins by sub. Like, he has good grappling, too. I know Tim Elliott tapped him out in the first round, but Tim Elliott's a guy that's, in the top 15. Tim Elliott's a guy that, almost tapped out Mighty Mouse. So I know, Ben Wynn went out there and starts Tim Elliott. It's all MMA math. The Ben Wynn win was impressive for sure. I'm definitely, I'm not that high on Ben Wynn anymore after, his last performance, but Ben Wynn's still, a good win. But one thing about Smolka is he always puts himself in a bad position. All of his fights, like even that fight, like the guy, like I don't know what it is. Like, he has good grappling, but like he always gives up a bad position to get the position he wants. And he takes a lot of damage in a lot of fights too. So I think it's gonna be a back and forth war. This could be fight of the night. But, I'm going to have to go with Danger, man. I think he's going to get a finish here. I think he's going to finish Smolka late in the third round. And, obviously I'm not playing Danger because I think his chin is not that good. But I wish you the best. I just think his striking is a lot better. If he doesn't get taken down here, which it's going to be hard because Smolka has good ground game. But the thing is, Smolka could take him down, but I think there could be some sweeps. I think Danger could wind up on top. Danger has a good ground game as well. So I just think if he doesn't get taken down, it's all Danger on the feet, in my opinion. Smolka, that head kick against Vasula, come on, he's not going to land that against him. Smolka's striking is not that good. It's like non-existent, in my opinion. He has really good ground and pound. His ground game is legit, but it's going to be. I think it's going to be hard, man, for him to get Danger down. I do think he gets Danger down. I really do, but I think we can see some back and forth, scrambles in the mat. So I got Danger by third round TKO, and I hope he cash.
He's gonna make it scrappy, man. He's gonna have a big cardio edge, especially later in the fight. He's gonna make it a war, and can Schnell. I mean, you even said it. It's probably gonna be a warish type fight. Can Schnell survive? Can Schnell survive a war? I know my boy Smolka can. He's durable as fuck.
They both have good cardio, though. Like, honestly, they do. You can't just say that.
Schnell slows down a little bit, man.
Smolka, I don't think he slowed down last fight. I don't think he slowed down last fight.
Yeah, he's fighting a 20-year-old kid.
Look, Danger's chinny for sure. He has a bad chin, but you can't just sit here and say Smolka has a good chin. Like, he's tough, but he's taking so much damage. All it's going to add up. He's going to get KO'd stiff soon, and Danger could be the guy. Danger's striking. Go ahead.
All I got to say is Smolka's got a winning record in the UFC. There's no way. How on earth could he be the dog to this match? What has Matt Schnell done in the sport to deserve to have the minus next to his name in this fight?
He's on a 2-fight winning streak. Obviously, he hasn't beaten anyone compared to Smolka, but Smolka's, the guy's taking so much damage, man. Like, it's a close fight, in my opinion. One more thing, too. I'm changing my pick, by the way. I got Danger by a sub. I think he's going to give him his second loss by sub. I think he's going to hurt Smolka on the feet and get him out of there by submission. I don't think he's going to knock him out, but I do think that he's going to get him out of there with a submission because, let's be honest, like I mentioned a million times in this debate, he gives up a bad position a lot, bro, in his fights. So I think I really can see both these guys getting hurt in this fight for sure. But I mean, obviously Danger hasn't fought. This is the best fighter that Danger's fought, but all that damage meter, bro, is adding up. What?
Rob Font?
Oh, okay. Well, I forgot about that. That was like a what?
Fun fact. I bet on Danger there is like a huge underdog.
I bet him too. So yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. But this is a big step though for Danger for sure. I mean, Rob Font fight, that was a short notice. That was a long time ago, but I think it's a close fight, so I got to go with Danger. And you definitely got good line on the dog, but Danger's the dog now, I think. So next fight, is it my turn or your turn?
You got it, man.
We got Maurice Greene, Croquet Boss versus Jeff Hughes. There's no secret, I'm actually a fan of Maurice Greene. I like the guy. I thought he had a good win last fight. I don't think, he can beat Jeff Hughes. I think Jeff Hughes, he went out there and got the win the first time they fought. I thought it was a really good fight. It was a back and forth war. I do definitely think it was a closer fight than a lot of people say. But I mean, here to beat him once. I think he has pretty good grappling. Obviously Greene's hole is his grappling. He has a huge size advantage here, though. Like, he's way bigger than Jeff Hughes. And Jeff Hughes, you watch this fight a Contender Series against that 300-pound guy, Josh Apple. I mean, yeah, man, he went out there, took some big shots, took him down. I think Jeff Hughes is a small guy for heavyweight, man. He trains with Stipe, but I think sooner or later he's definitely. I don't think he's gonna be able to hit that top 5, top 10, but as much as I like Maurice Greene, I think he's going to beat him. So yeah, I think Jeff Hughes just has a big grappling advantage here. Greene definitely has good striking, but Greene definitely can get hit too. He's never been KO, but I definitely question his chin. He's been hurt. Jeff Hughes hurt him in the first fight. Juan, what is Juan? I forget what his Espino. Yeah,
Spino?
he hurt him. That was hard to watch because there was a lot of shit talking on that fight, and I wanted Maurice to win that fight, but he didn't. Hey, Maurice trains with Brock Larson, man, and Brock Larson, is a really good coach, good jiu-jitsu. I'm pretty sure he's Tony Martin's head coach as well, even though he trains the top team. And Brock Larson doesn't train a top team, but Brock Larson's going to be in Martin's corner. I think every fight he is, and that's Croquet's head coach. So his jiu-jitsu is good for sure. He has like 3 wins for a triangle, but I don't think he's going to be able to win off his back. I think Jeff Hughes is going to dominate him and win a decision. I don't see him finishing Maurice Greene. Maurice Greene's pretty damn tough to finish. What about you?
Yeah, literally the only research I did for this fight was watching their first fight, and I guess I'm gonna go with Jeff Hughes. I'm not exactly high on either of these guys. I'll say Hughes wins a decision here, but I don't have much to say, man. I haven't looked into it too much. So we can just move on to the next one. We got you got to play here, man. Grant Dawson -170 taking on Julian Juicy J Erosa +150. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, man. So I got the favorite, Grant Dawson. I got him 3 units. I kind of messed up this line because I got 3 units at -190, and then now he's -170, which I honestly did not see coming. But I mean, I messed up a lot of lines, so I'm not really surprised. I think Grant Dawson is, a pretty good fighter, pretty good prospect. We haven't seen him in a while because, he's coming off he got popped or something. It might have been the same thing John Jones did. They let him off pretty early though. Obviously on the feet, Julian Erosa I think has the better striking. I think he's more technical. I think he has more volume. I think he's definitely, the better striker. Dawson's pretty green on the feet. But once Dawson gets you down, man, like this kid's grappling really, really good. His top game's good. He has a vicious ground and pound. I think he's going to just take him down at will. Julian Erosa, you can say, yeah, he's been knocked out, 4 times. Ceruto knocked him out. Devontae Smith knocked him out. Bobby McIntyre knocked him out. Artem Lobov, the GOAT, knocked him out. All these guys are knocking him out. That's how you beat him. But the thing is, you can take this kid down as well. Marcin Wozarek, that guy took him down like 6 times. He gets taken down a lot in his fights as well. This guy's just not that good off his back. Paddy Pimblett, that fight, hold up real quick. That fight, I do think Erosa won that fight, but come on, you're getting taken down by a guy like that. I think Dawson's going to take this kid down, and he's going to keep him there, and he's going to hurt him and really get him out of there, man. I really want to see Dawson striking improve, before I can say he's going to be a top 15, top 10 guy. But the kid's super young. The kid's lost 1 time, and that was a controversial loss. The guy's actually, one more thing, too. I don't know if people know this, but that was at 155. This kid's a 45. His only loss is at 155. And, he went for a takedown. The guy got some good elbows and, got him out of there. But it was a pretty controversial loss. And then Dawson, was kind of mad about the stoppage. I think it was a bad stoppage. What would have happened after that? I don't know. But I do think it was a bad loss. And I think Dawson's grappling is really good. I think his top game's good. I think he's more durable. I think Julian Erosa has no chin. I don't think he's UFC material at all, to be honest. You're getting knocked out against Ceruto, a bantamweight, and Artem Lobov, 145. Bobby McIntyre. Who the hell is Bobby McIntyre? So I got Grant Dawson. I don't think he's gonna knock him out on the feet. I don't think he's gonna hurt him on the feet. This kid's relentless for the grappling. This kid doesn't waste any time. You watch his fights. He's after it right when the bell rings. So I got Dawson by a ground and pound TKO first round finish. Oh, one more thing. He's home too, by the way. He lives in Kansas and he trains with James Krause. So that's definitely going to help him out there.
Man, you hit a lot of good points, man. I had to. I should be ashamed of myself because I actually debated whether or not I wanted to put a 1-unit shot on Julian Erosa in this spot, but I decided to just pass on this fight altogether, man. I think Dawson actually still has a long way to go, especially on the feet. I think he's still a developing fighter. On the feet here, I actually think Erosa is probably better on the feet than he is on the ground for sure. He actually has a decent amount of power in his hands. He made us pay, man, on a Contender Series. Me and you both bet Jamal Emmers, and Erosa went out and got the job done there, but then got absolutely demolished against King Cage Devontae Smith last time. And hey, man, that was only what? That was about 3.5 months ago, and you got to take more time after a knockout like that, man. And that's like a real big thing that's kind of swaying me away. I think Grant Dawson definitely has developed enough. You're right. He's relentless with the grappling, and he's nailed that part of the game so far. I think he actually has a decent amount of experience, a lot more experience than I thought he had, including his pro and amateur record. I guess I think this kid has potential, but I'm just not completely sold yet. I'll go with him. I think you'll cash here. I think the line's probably around right now. Made a lot of good points, man. I didn't even watch that. I haven't watched that Erosa Pimlet fight in so long, but yeah, you can't be getting taken down by a guy like that. And Polish Zombie Rozek, yeah, you're absolutely right, man. Erosa is just holy shit, dude is just not good. He doesn't have the chin. He doesn't have the takedown defense, and who knows? Maybe Grant Dawson goes out here and gets well, I guess he's got a couple knockouts on his record, but don't be surprised if Erosa gets knocked out of here again, man. I think you probably got a good bet. I'm gonna go with Grant Dawson. I'll say second round submission. I just can't ever pick Julian Erosa in a UFC fight, man.
Dude, Julian Erosa would have lost that fight against Emmers if Emmers wouldn't have fought like a dumbass. Emmers like tried to get that that contract, and that's what I hate about that show. I mean, I do like the Contender Series, but sometimes like the fighters will just go out for the knockout, even like not even show their potential. Look at Jamal Emmers. The guy's a grappler. The guy should have went out there and took the kid down at will. And what does he do? He tries to strike with him, and he wins the first round. He drops him, but Jamal Emmers isn't like he's not a striker. He's a grappler. So I think he would have won that fight if he would have played it smart. But it is what it is.
For sure, man. So moving on to the next fight, we got the one and only chick fight of this card. We got Yana Kunitskaya, the Russian, minus 170, taking on Marion Reneau, plus 150. Man, I mean, if you look at it on paper, we got a Russian chick versus a chick in her 40s, dude. And it's only minus 170. But if you really go and look at the body of work, like Marion Reneau is a skilled fighter, man, and she fights to much younger than her age. I mean, she might be in her 40s, but she's out there looking like a 34, 35-year-old, in my opinion. Like, she probably is slowing down a little bit. She hasn't looked the best lately. And there's probably a reason why she is the underdog here. In fact, I think Yana Kunitskaya probably will be able to go out there and style on the feet and land takedowns. I think Yana actually she should probably be a bigger favorite. I think Yana should be around a minus 200 here, man. I think she's still developing. She hasn't been in the UFC that long, but I think this is absolutely a decent stepping stone for her. Not much to say, but I will go with Yana via a clean 30-27 decision.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to disagree with you, man. I got Marion Reneau. There's no secret that she's definitely one of my favorite women fighters. I think she's she comes to bring it every fight. Last fight, she's definitely getting older. Kat Zingano was getting busted up, and I can't even talk. Busted up on the feet, but I mean, she just took Reneau down at will, and Reneau just could not do anything about it. I mean, she got up Reneau multiple times, but Kat just completely just did not waste time on the feet. Kat got her on the feet multiple times, took her down. Kunitskaya, man, she's big for the weight class. I don't think she's, a jobber by any means. I think she's pretty good. No one goes out there and dominates Lena Landsberg. She went out there and, won every round. She has a really good trip, nasty trip, good grapple. I think her grappling is way better than her striking. I don't think her striking is that good. I actually don't think it's good at all. I think Marion Reneau has way better striking. Reneau has, a good ground game. She has nasty jiu-jitsu, but she can get taken down. Talita Bernardo, whatever you want to call that last name, took her down multiple times and then, gassed and got, finished. Then Kat took her down multiple times. I think Yana has the grappling advantage. I think she can definitely take her down. But does she want to take her down? She's been tapped out twice. I mean, Tanya Evinger tapped her out pretty quickly. The first fight, she tapped Tanya out, but that was a weird, controversial. That was really weird. I thought Yana, tapped her out, but I guess they said that she held on to Evinger's shirt. I don't know what went on in that fight, but
Tanya was trying to defend the armbar by rubbing her, just squeezing down her foot on Yana's face, and which is perfectly legal to kind of grind your foot into the opponent's face, but the ref told her not to do it, and Yana ended up getting the tap. She readjusted because he made Tanya not do that.
Yeah, that was weird. One fun fact that I want to say here is, bro, Reneau could arguably be 7-2 in the UFC. Like, she definitely beat Ashley Evans Smith. That was one of the biggest robberies of all time. And that Boetsch fight in Brazil was not a draw. Reneau won that fight. Reneau landed like 90 more strikes in her. So, I mean, yeah, Boetsch took her down too. So, I mean, that's one thing. A lot of fighters take down Reneau. Like, I feel like I don't know what it is. Like, I think she like just lets you take her down because her ground game is good, but like off her back sometimes, like she just stays there. Like she doesn't, she obviously she throws up a lot of submission attempts, but I mean, you can just kind of control her too. I mean, McMahon dominated her in the first round, but then McCann quit in that second round, and Reneau hurt her. Reneau has power. Reneau has good striking. Reneau has way better striking than Kunitskaya, and she has way better jiu-jitsu. I just think Kunitskaya could definitely weasel out the decision by just taking her down. But I mean, if she takes her down, she's gonna have to really hold her P's and Q's because I can definitely see her getting tapped out here, man. So I'm gonna go for no by a close decision. I think she is gonna win this fight. I'm not confident enough of betting her. She's 41 years old. I mean, this girl's tough. She's a teacher. I think she's 7-2 in UFC. She's only lost to Holly Holm and Cass Ngannou. And let's be honest, Ngannou only won that fight because she just laid on her. I mean, she was getting busted up on the feet, like I just mentioned. But Kunitskaya is huge, bro. Kunitskaya is way bigger than Reneau. I mean, Cass Ngannou had a way bigger size advantage. Kunitskaya has a bigger size advantage. Kunitskaya took down Cyborg, so that was definitely impressive in my opinion. She did get wrecked though, but I mean, who doesn't get wrecked? Amanda Nunes is the only person that hasn't got wrecked, and she dominated Landsberg. Landsberg sucks in my opinion, but that was definitely a good win. So I'm gonna go with Reneau. I think she's gonna get a decision win, but I'm just not confident, man, in playing it because I think it's a close fight. So is it my turn? It's my turn, right?
Yep.
Let me find my notes. So next up, man, we got Anthony Rocco Martin versus Sergio Moraes, and this is a good fight. We're both, no secret, we're both really high in Anthony Rocco Martin. I think going to 170 is the best decision he's ever made. Probably besides Kayla Harrison, I definitely think that I bet they train together a lot. And Kayla Harrison, man, like she seems like a nice girl. I feel like she has a lot of potential, man, to be that next, big, I think she's gonna be in the UFC soon, but she's really good. Her grappling's legit, dude. Anyways, enough about her. Let's talk about Tony Martin's debut. I mean, his debut at 170 went out there and dominated Keita Nakamura, won every round. Keita took him down a couple times, but Martin just threatened the guillotine. His Kimura sweep is legit. He's not going to go out there and tap on Moraes. Okay, I'm sorry. There's no hot take here. Like if that happens, I'll pull a Clint and eat my shoe because he's not going to go out there and tap out Sergio Moraes. If he does that, I mean, I hope he does. I'm picking him to win, but he's not going to tap him out. The second fight against Ryan LaFleur, I mean, he dominated Ryan LaFleur. Who's done that to Ryan LaFleur? Nobody. And he went out and knocked him out in the third round. And then against Jake Matthews, there's a lot of people that think that was like a 2-0 Matthews, and maybe the scorecards were like that in Australia, but that was a joke if that was. That was 1-1 for sure. And Tony Martin, he got dropped in the first round, but I think he kind of just I don't know. I wouldn't say he got he didn't even he didn't even really hurt in that fight. I think he just kind of got caught off balance, man, and then got dropped, and then the second round he won the second round, and in the third round, he hurt Jake Matthews, got him out of there. Tony Martin's good everywhere, man. I think his striking's improved a lot. I think his striking's better than Sergio's. Sergio's striking, it's whatever. I mean, he throws bombs. He had a close fight with Tim Means. We'll be talking about Tim Means later. I do think that Tim Means won that fight, though. That's just my personal opinion. Sergio's a little chinny, too, man. He's been knocked out twice. Tim Means hurt him in the third round. Tim Means made him pull guard. I think Rocco's striking, I think he has more power. I think he's more technical. I think he's faster. I think he's found himself at 170. I think his grappling is good. I don't think he's going to try to take him down. If he tries to take down Sergio Moraes, I think that's a big mistake because Moraes has, one of the best ground games at 170, in my opinion. And Moraes is no slouch. The guy has a really good record. But he's been in a lot of close fights. I mean, the fight with Otto, that was close. He's in a lot of close fights, and I think Rocco Martin just hasn't beat Grow on the feet, and I think he's going to stuff the takedown. So I got to go with Anthony Rocco Martin, and I think he's going to get him out of there. I think he's going to finish Moraes with the ground. I think he's going to hurt him on the feet, and He's going to go in his guard, but I mean, Moraes is going to be hurt anyways, and he's going to get him out of this. So I got Anthony Rocco Martin. What about you?
Man, like looking into this card initially, like pre-tape leans and all that, like Tony Martin stuck out to me more than absolutely anybody. But thing is, I don't see really any value betting Tony Martin at minus 200 here. That's probably what I think he should be, about minus 200. So I mean, not really any value, but he is definitely one of those guys I'm targeting if I have a fourth and final play. If some more money comes in on Sergio Moraes, then I might make that leap on Tony Martin. I think Tony Martin, I mean, you said it all, man. Like that move up to 170, improvements in his striking. The dude has seriously like turned himself into a real crisp boxer, and I actually think he can take advantage of that and really style on Moraes on the feet. I think the grappling is probably going to end up just It's going to neutralize here. I don't really see. I mean, I guess if anyone's going to go for a takedown, it's probably going to be Sergio. I think Tony thinks that he can definitely just come out here and smoke Sergio on the feet, and he very well may. But I think Sergio actually might be able to land some takedowns here and make for some real sweaty moments. I mean, Sergio gets into a lot of close fights, man. I mean, Zack Otto, we were talking about him earlier. The Tim Means fight was really close. I mean, Tim Means is a serious boxer. He wasn't able to put away Sergio Moraes. The Davi Ramos win, like Davi Ramos was way outsized in that fight. I mean, Sergio Moraes is a full-size welterweight. That guy is. The Omari Akmedov win, we're going to talk about him next fight. Like, I don't know. Moraes is a crafty dude, but, you know, he is getting up there in age, man, 36 years old. I don't know. I don't really I'm not jumping off the couch to go place a bet on Sergio Moraes as a dog here with the way Tony Martin's been looking, man. Crazy how Jake Matthews was being scored 2-0 in that fight. It was clearly 1-1. That's just me. I think most people probably feel that way, but not only that, man, just absolutely hit all the points. Who has just smoked Ryan LaFleur like that? Who has just beat the ever-loving shit out of Kaida Nakamura like that? Tony Martin, in my opinion, is definitely a top 20 guy, and I think Sergio Moraes is probably around the same rank, man. I think both these guys are around number 20 probably. Thing is, just one guy is on the way up, and that is Tony Martin, and one guy is on the way down, and that is Sergio Moraes. So for that reason, I will be going with Tony Martin. I think he knocks out Sergio Moraes here on the feet. I'll say second round KO.
One thing I want to mention too is that Sergio Moraes gasses in a lot of his fights. He definitely slows down. I think Anthony Rocco has way better cardio. Jake Matthews gassed in that fight in the second round. You could just tell that Tony Martin, you know, was going to win that fight. His cardio looked way better. His cardio is really good.
Really well conditioned, man. That guy, he can go. He can go for days. I want to see Tony Martin some 5-round fights.
I want to see Tony Martin. I want to see Tony Martin fight Neil Magny, man. That's the fight that needs to happen after this. Call them out. Let's do it.
Let's see it, man. I hope Rocco I really hope Rocco gets it done, man, because I'm really high on his his rise up in this division. Mm-hmm. I like it a lot.
Between me and you, Magny doesn't want that fight. He doesn't want that smoke. He doesn't want it.
Who does Magny want to fight?
Probably Mickey Gall, to be honest. He wants that easy win.
So moving on to the next one, man. This is my second play of the night right here. We just mentioned this guy. We got Omari Akmedov, minus 130, taking on Tim the Barbarian Boetsch, plus 110. There's a lot of line movement on this one, man. This is probably the fight on the card that had the most line movement. Omari Akmedov opened like a minus 230, 220-ish favorite. A lot of money coming in on the Barbarian, which, I mean, I guess at that price, man, I can get both sides. I can see why the odds makers would open up Omari Akmedov that high. And then on the other side, I guess I can see why you would want to take the shot on Tim Boetsch at plus 175, plus 180, whatever it was. I mean, Tim Boetsch is known for overcoming tough fights and getting late knockouts. And coincidentally, Omari Akmedov has, I don't want to say been known, but I mean, we can't deny that there's been a couple times where Akmedov slowed down later in fights and got knocked out in the third round. But then again, man, we are talking about like serious dudes in Sergio Moraes and Zaleski dos Santos. I don't know if Tim Boetsch is definitely on the way out at this point. I'm sure most of you heard about the interview, or he wants to retire. He's been focusing on other things. He's just not he's not fully indulged in the sport at this point, man. I think Omari Akmedov. I mean, we're talking about a Dagestani Russian here, man. Like, you know this guy is just, you know, he trained his ass off for this fight. You know he's coming in here with the perfect game plan. It's kind of crazy that the line has gotten this close because, I mean, at this point in their careers, Akmedov is the way more skilled fighter with a lot more to give. And really, Tim Boetsch isn't going to come out here and outpoint him. Tim Boetsch isn't going to come out here and out-wrestle a Russian in Akmedov, who's a very good wrestler in his own right. Tim Boetsch needs a knockout here, man. And the thing is, yeah, we have seen Omari Akmedov knocked out in the past, but we can't just brush over the crazy weight cut he was making at 170. I think at 185, he's a lot more durable here, man, and he could probably take some hard shots. I mean, even then, man, like the Abdul Razak Al Hassan fight, dude, that's a crazy fight. That Al Hassan Omari Akmedov fight, that's a great one. He ate Al Hassan's best shots. Omari Akmedov can take a shot for sure. I think it's just that Zaleski and Moraes fight. He was so gassed. He didn't really pace himself well, and he was early in his UFC career. And at this point, Akmedov is like a 10-fight veteran, nowhere near as experienced as Tim Boetsch, but just Boetsch he's so over the hill, man. We can't forget this guy was knocked out by Ed Herman a couple of years ago. He's really on the way down, and I think Akmedov, like in the long-term battle here, if this fight goes to decision, Akmedov most certainly wins. I think Akmedov might even be able to get a finish of his own right, man. I think he might be able to just come out here and put it on Tim Boetsch and surprisingly knock him out. So that being said, I have 2 units on Akmedov here at -130 to win. I think it's like 1.5. So, yeah, I got the Russian. I got 2 units on the Dagestani, man, to beat the retiring Tim Boetsch. This might be the last time we see Tim Boetsch fight in the octagon, so all the respect in the world to that guy. But I got money to make, man.
Yeah, man, I think he gassed in those 2 fights because I think Zaleski has really good cardio, and I also think, you know, Moraes, like I mentioned, doesn't have the best cardio, but I think Moraes has better cardio than Omari, man. And Omari's gassing is definitely a big issue. You saw his last fight against Vittori. I think the Italian Stallion won that fight. I don't think that should have been a draw. I do think that he won that fight. It was close, though, for sure. But I think Omari's more durable than Tim Boetsch. I think Omari wants it more. Tim Boetsch, you know, who knows, man? Like, whenever you see that retirement talk, that's not good, man. It isn't. And Tim Boetsch has definitely been KO'd way more times. He's good, man. I mean, he's definitely, you know, a beast in there, man. But, I mean, he can get taken down pretty easily. I mean, he has no ground game. I mean, the guy's been tapped out multiple times. Carlos Jr., I mean, the list goes on. Rothwell, yeah, but they're all good fighters, you know. Boetsch is in there with good fighters, and all of his losses against good fighters besides Ed Herman, that was a very bad loss. Why did he even fight at 205? I don't know. But I just think Omari has, you know, good striking as well. I don't know if Omari can go out there and knock him out in the feet. I think Omari needs to play this smart and go out and go for the takedown because he could definitely get him down. He could definitely hurt him on the mat, and he could definitely get a finish on the mat. I think he could get a knockout on the feet, but I mean, I think Boetsch could too. I think on the feet it's going to be a slobber knocker. I think it's going to be back and forth. And Tim Boetsch has the cardio advantage, in my opinion, too. In my opinion, but I think Omari's going to get this in the mat, and he's going to make quick work. So I got Omari with a second round TKO. So next fight we got we got Beneil Dariush versus Drew Dober, and it's a good fight, man. I think it's a close fight. I got to go with Benny here, man. I think he's the better fighter. I think he has a clear advantage on the mat. We saw what he did against Moraes last fight, and he needs to do that same thing this fight. He needs to go out there and take this fight to the mat. Drew Dober, I mean, a lot of his losses, you know, he's been tapped out multiple times, twice. You take this guy down. This guy's, you know, has good striking. He has good gas tank. He has pressure. He comes forward. He's like, what, 5-1 his last 6 fights? I know all those guys he's beaten don't even come close to Benny Dariush, but I mean, Drew Dober's not bad, man. Yeah, you know, trains team elevation. You know, he had that really good fight with Camacho at 170. Camacho's at the bottom of the division, in my opinion, though. He had that good win against John Tuck. He ate some big shots in John Tuck, and he just took him down. I mean, he actually beat John Tuck on the feet, too. This guy has a good chin. He's definitely more durable than Benny Dariush. That's common sense. Benny's chin is just not that good anymore. The guy's 29 years old, and I've heard Benny, I think, in an interview too, talking about retirement. So I forgot to mention that. Like that's a huge red flag. The fact that, and Benny said something about some interview too that he knows his chin isn't good. I don't like that. I mean, the fact that like he knows his chin's not good. Like I don't know, man. I feel like he better be diving for legs. I feel like here, but he has a huge advantage on the mat. Benny's ground game's legit, and Benny's gas tank's not the best. He went 3 rounds last fight because he had, Moraes on his back, but he better not go out there and try to strike with Dober, because one thing, I want to say is Dariush has good striking. He really does, man. Like, he has a really good left body kick, a really good left hand, good Muay Thai, but I don't want him to strike with guys anymore. This kid's chin is not good. Like, he better not go out there and try to strike with Dober, because if he gets in a brawl with Dober, it's good night, Irene. Dober's going to knock him out, bro. So I think Benny needs to get this fight to the mat and just, take it to the mat and just out grapple him. I think he can definitely get a submission too. So I'm going to go with Benny by a second round submission, but if he hangs on the feet with him for too long, Dober's going to knock him out. What about you?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think skill-wise, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I think Beneil Dariush is a better striker than Drew Dober. He just does not have the durability. Drew Dober's chin. I mean, look at the guy's face. Like, the guy's whole face looks like an iron block. Like, the guy can take shots for days, man. And we're talking about a guy, Beneil Dariush, before he got knocked out by Edson Barboza. He was outstriking Edson Barboza. He's gone in there and finished like serious dudes. Knocked out James Vick in the first round. What else am I missing? I mean, this dude just has a very impressive record. Unanimous decision over Rashid Magomedov. Dude's serious. Wins over Michael Johnson, Rocco Martin. Like, Beneil's the man. And I think this line is just a little bit of recency bias, because seriously, if this fight would have happened a couple years ago, Beneil would probably be like a -300 favorite here, man. But the fact that Drew Dober has actually went out there and won his last 5 out of 6, 4 out of 5 fights, and the fact that Dariush has been knocked out a couple times recently, I think that made the line a little bit closer. But I took 2 units on my boy Beneil Dariush here at -185 to win just a little over 1 unit, man. Third final play of the night so far. We'll see what happens with some lines, but yeah, I really like Dariush. I agree with you, said. I think he should take the safe route here and try to take down Drew Dober, because I honestly think Beneil can go out there and outstrike Dober to a 30-27 decision. I don't think he can knock out Dober. Like I said, man, steel face. I think Dariush. I mean, every time we see Dober fight a grappler, I mean, look at that. I think the last time his last loss was the OAM fight. This dude just doesn't have he's not up to par with the wrestling and the grappling and the sport. And I think Dariush, a perennial top 15 guy, is going to be able to go out there, take advantage of that, and wrap up a rear naked choke. I'll say in the end of the first round or in the second round. I got Beneil Dariush by submission here, man. So yeah, 2 units, -185. Let's go, Benny Dariush. So moving on to the next fight, man. This is an interesting one to think about. This is the most recent fight I just did tape for. This is Blagoy Ivanov, -125, taking on Ben Rothwell, +105. I'm excited to see Ben Rothwell back, man, because usually when Ben Rothwell fights, it's usually pretty fucking entertaining, man. I love how well-rounded this guy is. It's really only later in his career that we've seen the ground game. Dude, I bet on Ben Rothwell against Matt Mitrione. He got the submission there. And I bet on Ben Rothwell against Josh Barnett there. But I wasn't expecting him to go out there and fucking choke Josh Barnett the way he did. Like, that was a huge, like, it wasn't that big of an upset line-wise. I think it was only +150. But the sub prop was plus like 1,300 or some crazy shit. And I actually think Ben Rothwell's submission game might actually be the X factor of this fight. I feel like on the feet, we let's be honest, we saw both of these guys get absolutely picked apart by Junior Dos Santos, who we'll see in the main event. Both these guys got picked apart for 5 rounds. They were too slow, they were too unathletic, and they weren't able to catch that chinny chin of Junior Dos Santos. We'll see if Derek Lewis can do that, but Neither of these guys were able to do that. Ben Rothwell, though, he's coming off a layoff and a USADA suspension, and I guess that is what makes him plus money here for the odds makers. I guess that's what we're rolling with. I guess that's why he's an underdog. Because if you look at the body of work, man, I mean, look at some of Ben Rothwell's UFC wins. I mean, Alistair Overeem. We joke about Brendan Schaub, but dude, Ben Rothwell has like a serious UFC resume, and Blagoy Ivanov, he's still pretty untested against these ranked serious heavyweights. We saw him just get outclassed by JDS. I'm not convinced he gets outclassed here by Ben Rothwell, but I think when it comes down to it, I think Ben Rothwell will be able to find the harder shots, and is like I said, that X factor, the ground game. I think if it hits there, Rothwell, he's the bigger, stronger guy with the better technique with the jiu-jitsu. So I think he actually might be able to catch a sub at some point. So I'm going to go with the underdog, man. I'm going to go with Ben Rothwell. I'm going to say third round TKO. I'll say ground and pound.
Yeah, I got Ben Rothwell too, man. You know, he's definitely has a long, or not, it's pretty been, what, 3-year layoff or something like that? It's been long for sure. I wasn't really that impressed with Black Boy, you know, against JDS. JDS is a pretty good fighter, yeah, top 10, top 5 guy, but I don't think he's that impressive, man. I think Ben Rothwell, man, has a lot of good tools. You know, he has good cardio, good chin, good striking. His ground game is really good. You don't go out there and tap out a guy like Josh Barnett. I mean, if you're not legit on the mat. Smoke Michigan with that first round submission. Yeah, he's good, man. I really do think that he's good. Look at that knockout against Alistair Overeem, man. It's a short breakdown for me. You know, I didn't really look into this fight that much. Don't have the best read on it, but I do think that Ben Rothwell at Dog Money is kind of a joke. So I got Ben Rothwell as well. But the next fight, we'll be having a very long breakdown. So the next fight, man, we got Nico the Hybrid Price versus Tim Means. And I got 3 units on Nico at plus 165. Before we talk about the matchup, let's just talk about their competition real quick. So the levels of the competition. So I think it's pretty close. So Tim Means, in my opinion, let's see who he's beaten. I think the best. Because I do think he beat Moraes, but he lost the fight. So I thought he won, but he didn't win the fight though. The best guy that he's beaten in 170, and I'm not going to bring up Bobby Greene. That was a long time ago. It doesn't, 55, long time ago. The best guy he's beaten in 155, in my opinion, Alex Garcia. Nico Price would smoke Alex Garcia, in my opinion. Okay, and Tim Means didn't have the best performance against it. That was a pretty lackluster decision. I do think he won, but we didn't see the best Tim Means there. Okay, I do think Means would beat Joban. I do think Means would beat Randy Brown. Would Tim Means would be Razak, and would he beat Luque? No, he would not. Luque would do the same thing that he did to Nico Price to Tim Means, and Luque and Razak would do the same thing. I think Razak would knock out Tim Means as well, man. So enough with that. Now let's talk about the matchup. I think Tim Means is definitely the more technical fighter. Nico Price isn't really that technical on the feet. He has power for sure, but I do think that Tim Means is the more technical guy. I think Tim Means is more volume. The chin wise, I do think that they both have good chins. I mean, you can't just sit here and say Price is chinny because he got KO'd last fight. We've seen his chin at hold up in a lot of his fights. A question mark I have is coming off Rozak smoked him in that fight. He really did. But the thing is, I don't know why Nico Price had that game plan here. I think Nico Price needs to have that game plan against Rozak, against Tim Means, in my opinion. We'll touch on that a little bit. But against Rozak, the guy goes out there and hurts Rozak, not drops him, but he hurts him with the right hand right off the gate, and he just got confident. But the thing is, why would you try to brawl with a guy like that? Rozak, in my opinion, is a top 15, top 10 guy. This guy is really good, and he has, he's probably hits some of the hardest striking in the division, man. And I really hope he clears up that whole thing with his wife or whatever. I don't know what happened, but I guess he has some stuff in the court needs to get taken care of. But yeah, man, he knocked out Nico Price. Nico Price first knockout loss. We'll see how he bounces back from here. But I think his chin's good. I really do. That's a question mark for sure. I hope he can hold up. And is Tim Means the guy that can knock him out like that? Tim Means is been looking good lately. In his last fight against Ricky Randy, he knocked out a complete turd, in my opinion. But does Tim Means have that power, in my opinion? I was like, no, he doesn't. And I actually think that if Nico Price goes out there and fights how he fought against George Sullivan, that was coming off his first professional loss against Nico Price or against Buke. I think that's one reason why he was a little hesitant out there. But I don't want to hear people like saying that, oh my God, Sullivan dominated him. What? George Sullivan got his ass beat. Okay, Nico Price, it just took some time for Nico Price because it was his first loss. But I mean, it's coming off his first professional loss. But I mean, he went out there and did what he had to do. He got the finish. But I think he needs to go after it. I think he needs to get in Tim Means' face. He cannot let Tim Means go and strike first. If Tim Means gets comfortable in there, it's going to be really hard for Nico Price to get a rhythm. Nico Price needs to go out there and make it a brawl, get in his face, and he needs to go for the takedown because I believe he has a big advantage on the mat. Tim Means took down Timmy Rainey and all that, or Tim Rainey, whatever his name is, Ricky Rainey, but I don't think he's going to have an advantage on the mat. I think Nico Price is good grappling. I think he's strong. He just got a stripe on his brown belt, so now he has one stripe in his brown belt. This kid's jiu-jitsu is legit, man. I mean, he went out there and topped out Brandon Thatch, and yeah, Brandon Thatch is a complete bum. Then he went out there and, survived the first round. Murano dropped him with one of his big haymakers he threw, and then he gassed, and Nico Price broke him and knocked him out in the second round. Then he went out there and, finished Joban, and that was a pretty impressive performance. I mean, his right hand looked really good. And then against, Nico Price's jab looked pretty good in that fight. That's all he did, though. He didn't throw anything. He just threw a jab. He was just hesitant in that fight because Luque is, a pressure fighter. Luque is, the better fighter. Luque would dominate Tim Means. I don't want to hear anyone out there say Tim Means would be. Get out of here. No, he would not. And then against Randy Brown, oh my God, you don't even know how many people that I like and people are saying that dude Brown dominated him in that fight, and then until he got that knockout. No, he did not. He won the first round against Randy Brown. And Randy Brown, oh my God, he hit a knee against Nico Price. Nico Price ate that knee. He didn't even look wobbled at all. And then Nico Price, the first round, Nico Price had, 2 minutes on top? He took him down. Second round, he went for a takedown, got reversed, and then knocked him out with his hammer fist. I mean, you don't do that if you're not a really strong, and Nico Price is strong. You can finish him anywhere, man. And yes, he got KO'd against Rozek, but Tim Means is not Rozek, man. Tim Means, he has a lot of knockouts, but he doesn't have that KO power that Rozek does, in my opinion. And he's KO'd a lot of bums, Tim Means, and I will say that a lot of bums, man. So I think it's going to be really hard for him to go out there and knock out Nico Price. I think Nico Price, like I mentioned, he's going to make it a dogfight. He has power. I think he's going to go out there and get him down. And make no mistake about it, Tim Means has been tapped out 4 times. So I think it's safe to say that Tim Means does not have the best ground game. He looked like a fish out of water against Cowboy in the second fight. The first fight, yeah, he looked good. He got dropped as well in that first fight. He gets hurt in his fights too. He has a good chin, man, for sure. But he does get dropped and hurt in his fights. Look at Matt Brown. He was piecing Matt Brown up, then he gets hurt, goes for a takedown, gets tapped out. He better not go for a takedown against Tim Means or against Nico Price, because I think his ground game's not bad. I just don't think it's better than Nico Price's. So I got Nico Price here. I think he needs to make it a dogfight, and I think he's going to get him out of there on the mat, man. I think he's in the hand Tim Means' 5th submission loss. So I got to go with my dog, Nico Price. I am pretty nervous about, coming off that layoff, or not layoff, coming off that 5 or 6 months, against Rozek, but I mean, that's Rozek, man. I don't think Tim Means has that power. I think Tim Means is more of a volume pressure fighter. And Tim Means, or Nico Price, needs to get after it. He better not let Tim Means pressure him, because if he does, it's going to be hard for Nico Price to win. So I got Nico Price by sub. What about you?
Man, you killed that breakdown. I will say this. When it comes to their resumes, yeah, dude, you were totally right with Tim Means' record. It's kind of underwhelming when you think about what we think. I mean, most people, including me, will think of Tim Means as one of the most technical boxers in the entire division. And then, yeah, it is a little underwhelming. But when you really look into it, he did have a really, really close fight against Sergio Moraes, top 20 guy. Really, really close fight against Bilal Muhammad. That's a really good fighter as well, top 30 guy. I mean, between me and you, he whooped Cowboy's ass in that first fight. He got a win there. To me, he got a win there. Tim Means is a serious dude, but especially, I mean, I got to bring up that last fight, man, against Ricky Rainey. I want to say he was a minus 250 in that fight, but shout out to whoever had no problem paying that juice, because that was fucking so easy, man. Ricky Rainey is one of the worst guys we've seen like in the last like few years. That was just Tim Means doing exactly what he should, but he is not going to do that to Nico Price here, in my opinion, man. I can't believe like the real seriously high confidence I see with people on Tim Means here, man. I actually think this fight is one of the hardest on the card to call. I'm really struggling with it. That being said, I think Justin's got a nice line there, and I will certainly be rooting for him. I hope it goes up a little higher. I might have to take a piece of that as well. But man, it's just sketchy. I have all the reasons in the world not to fade Nico Price or Tim Means. Like Nico Price is a specimen, man. Like he can knock your ass out. Like shout out to him. I've cashed on Price against Alan Joban before. He definitely has power in his hands. He's explosive. He's got a good ground game. He's strong. Like I've always said it since his first fight in the UFC. The guy's extremely well rounded for sure. Like he's not the most he's not like a specialist by any means. He's not a super good striker. He's not a super good grappler. He's not a super good wrestler, but the way he blends it in, he's a very good MMA fighter, man. And I think Nico Price is a guy that's probably going to hold on to a job in the UFC for a very, very long time now. Does he win this fight? I don't know, man. I just don't know. I think you're right. He has to go in there and bring the fight to Means because I'm not quite sure Means can actually handle a fight from Nico Price. Nico Price, like dude's just intimidating. He's fucking huge. He hits hard. I think he can hurt Means on the feet. I think he can take Means down. Means does kind of have a little bit of suspect takedown defense. But then again, man, I can see Means. I don't know, man. I can see Means out grappling Price as well. I can see him knocking out Price. Like there's just too many ways I can see this fight going. There's so many X factors. Price coming off a devastating knockout. Tim Means, in my opinion, slowly regressing. Is Tim Means going to hit a big drop off at any point here? I mean, we see fighters. Usually it goes, they start to slowly regress, and then there's always that one performance where like, oh, yep, he's done. This could be it. This could honestly be it, man. I mean, he's no spring chicken in the game of MMA for sure. Nico Price, higher ceiling, I mean, for sure, and he's still so young in the game, so I'm going to go with Nico Price here, man. I'm going to say Nico Price hurts him on the feet, takes him down, and submits Tim Means. I think Justin cashes. Team Nico Price. I don't know if I'm going to bet it, though. I don't know.
All right, I got to mention a couple things. So one thing, my boy MMA Guru, this dude just said that Tim Means would knock out Vicente Luque. Okay, that right there, I got to call you out. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about right now. Tim Means would not knock out Vicente Luque. Bro. Come on, man. Really? No, he would not. Luque would tap him out in the first round within 2 minutes, in my opinion. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, number two, Tim Means is inconsistent, man. He really is. Like, I think he's on the decline. Okay? You can't just sit here and say Price is on the decline because he got KO'd last fight. The dude's like 5-2 in UFC. He's only lost to good fighters. Bilal, I think Bilal did win that fight. I think Bilal just pressured him, man. That's what Price has to do. Price is at his best when he pressures you. He didn't pressure Luque because Luque pressured him. Luque pressures everybody, though. That's the thing. I think I think Price needs to get after it. He needs to make this a brawl. That's the wrong strategy to do against a guy with Razak. But a guy with Tim Means, you have to back up a guy like Tim Means because Tim Means isn't comfortable going back. He isn't comfortable when he's look at Matt Brown. Like if you get in his face, man, he doesn't win fights. But I mean, it's funny how we're talking about last fight. Don't brawl with a guy like Razak, but I want him to brawl here because if he goes out there and makes this fight crazy, a dog fight, he's gonna win this fight for sure. We need that. We need the Nico Price, the crazy Nico Price to happen here because if he's slow out there and hesitant like he was against George Sullivan, I don't think he's gonna win. He needs to make this a crazy fight.
And one thing about Tim Means, man, like he is a very good striker, but he actually doesn't have the most power in the world. He's not like a one-shot guy. Like even going back to the Saba Hamasi fight, it was an accumulation thing. I don't know if he's going to be able to land accumulation blows on Nico Price over the course of, I mean, is he really going to put it? I don't know. I just don't see him really being able to put it on Nico Price for an extended period of time without Nico Price making some shit happen. And Nico Price is very opportunistic. That is a guy that's going to fight for your fucking money, man. I like that bet a lot.
He's tough. He has a good chin, man. People saying he has a bad chin because he got KO'd last fight. Like, yeah, you can mention maybe the 5 or 6 months against Reyes Raza is concerning. It is concerning, but don't sit here and say he has a bad chin. The guy does not have a bad chin. If he gets KO'd here in like a minute, then yeah, he has a bad chin. Okay, but I don't think he does.
I think some people would be very surprised to see the amount of people that Al Hassan would knock out. That dude is a assassin.
God, what do you knock out with something, Luque? Ooh, dude, that is a cool.
Bro, Luque was eating those shots from Barberina. Like, yeah, I'm surprised. Really good chin. Like, a lot of people lost stock in Luque in that fight. I was actually impressed with his toughness in that fight. There was a lot of people knocking on his cardio. He got a fucking 3rd round KO over a kind of guy that's known for his cardio. So
he should have went to the body, I feel like, earlier in that fight because you see Barberina's head, it's huge, man. Like Barberina just walked forward and ate. Oh my god. Shout out to Barberina though. Barberina's like one of the nicest guys on Twitter, man. He's a good fighter, man. So next fight, man. This actually might be a longer debate than the last one because I'm actually a little more confident in this pick. We got Zaleski versus Curtis Millender, and I got my biggest play of the night. I got 4 units on my boy Curtis Millender at plus 100. I think he's minus 125 now, the favorite, and rightfully so. He should be the favorite. Let's talk about Zaleski because Zaleski's a good fighter, man. He really is. He's 6-1 in the UFC. He's a brawler, man. This guy gets hit a lot. He gets hurt in a lot of his fights. He has good cardio. He just keeps on coming forward. He gets picked apart in some of his fights, but we'll make no mistake about it, man. He has an impressive, resume, man. I thought Sean Strickland was actually picking him apart until he got KO with that crazy kick. Max Griffin hurt him multiple times in that fight. You watched that fight. That was a dog fight, a barn burner. But Max Griffin, man, hurt him multiple times. And if a guy like Max Griffin can hurt you, what do you think Curtis Millender's going to do? Zaleski gets hurt in a lot of his fights, like I just mentioned. A lot of his fights. I'm not even going to bring up the last fight against Luigi because Millender doesn't have Millender is not even a grappler, first off. He doesn't have the grappling that Luigi does. This is a striker versus striker matchup. Zaleski, in my opinion, has good striking, but I think he needs to get this fight to the mat to win this fight. Millender's been taken down in all of his UFC fights once. So he got taken down against Thiago Alves once. Sear took him down twice. So yeah, let's talk about that. So first fight against Thiago Alves, Millender looked like an animal out there. I bet him in all of his UFC fights. Completely dominated him, and then he got taken down the end of the first round, went for a guillotine, didn't get it, and then second round happens, and he just did the same thing in the first round, smoked him, bro, with that knee. He has so many tools in this fight. He has more tools than Zaleski on the feet. Zaleski's a brawler. He comes forward. He has good pressure, but he keeps his hands down. I think Millender has more tools. I think Millender's more technical in the feet. I think they're both durable. I think they both have really good chins. I think they both have good cardio. I think this fight hits the 3rd round, I'll be sweaty because it's going to get interesting for sure. I just think, like I mentioned, the Smolka danger fight obviously is different, but I think all that damage that Zaleski's been taken is going to add up here. Griffin hurt him multiple times. Good hurt him. I mean, Strickland hurt him. I think Curtis Millender, man, is going to knock him out here, man. Look at what Millender did against Max Griffin. Griffin took him down the first round. Then, he stopped all the takedowns second and third. He actually took down Max Griffin. This guy reversed Sire. We all make fun of his ground game stuff, but his offensive wrestling is not that bad. I mean, the guy reversed here, but the thing is, he can get taken down. He's not the most comfortable guy off his back. But how many times has Zaleski taken anyone down in UFC? One time against Lyman Good. One time, and he took Lyman Good down because Lyman Good, he caught a kick. Yes, that was a terrible bet. I'll say that right now. Congrats to you, Lyman Good. One of the worst bets I've ever done in my entire life, but against Damian Maia. Zaleski's taken down one opponent in the UFC. He's been taken down multiple times too. Would it surprise me if Millender took him down? Yeah, because Millender's not really known for his wrestling, but I mean, he's still done it, against Max Griffin and Sire. But I just think on the feet, man, I think Winter's too big for him. I think he has way too many more weapons for him. I think Winter's definitely the bigger guy. He fights so long. I don't think he has tall man's defense, man. I don't. Like, I think he has good defense in the feet. He doesn't really get hit that many. He does get hit in some of his fights. We saw got hurt against Kevin Holm. Sire hurt him, hit him with some big shots, but he ate it. He has a good chin. And I just don't know how Zaleski's going to go out there and run through him. I think Zaleski has to beat him if he goes for the grappling. I think if this hits the third round, goes to decision, it could be interesting. But I'm telling you, man, he gets hurt way too much, Zaleski, for my liking. And a guy against like Kirsten Wonder, in my opinion, is one of the best strikers in the division. I mean, the way he sets up his knees, he sets up like everything. Like he's a good counter striker for sure, and Zaleski's definitely going to be in his face pressuring him. But the way he sets up everything, like his hands are good in my opinion, but I think his kicks and his knees are good. I really like how Curtis Miner sets up his counter striking, and I think he's just too big. He's too long. He's too crafty. I think he's too smart for him on the feet. I think he needs to stop the takedowns if Zaleski shoots, because Zaleski has the advantage on the mat. He has good BJJ, but I mean the guy just doesn't go for his grappling. He's gone for one takedown, one. So I'm gonna go with I think Curtis Wonder, man. I think I'm gonna go with him by first round KO. I know that's a bold statement, but I think he's gonna get him out of there, man. He's gonna hurt Zaleski, and once Zaleski feels that power, man, I think we're gonna see Zaleski shooting, and that's when he's gonna get knocked out with a knee to the face. So I got Curtis Wonder with a first round KO.
Man, I just do not know this fight, man. I love this fight. I just do not know. Like, I try to think. I'm trying to get to like the very like sharpest point of this fight. Like, who is going to win the long-term battle in this fight? And on one hand, I feel like Curtis, yeah, he's probably more technical. He's probably going to land the cleaner shots here. He's probably going to be landing like more. He's probably gonna be landing more shit. Like, I don't know. Zaleski throws some crazy shit too. I don't know, man. I just feel like Curtis would probably be throwing the cleaner shots, but I think Zaleski is gonna be throwing more at him. I think Zaleski is gonna be pressuring. I think he's gonna be controlling the octagon. I just don't know. I don't know who wins the long-term battle, because I feel like if this fight hits the scorecards, it's really, really razor close. If I had to think of who I think has a better chance at a knockout. Oh, man. Like, of course, Curtis Millender, he has never been knocked out before. But the thing is, man, Sean Strickland had never been knocked out before either. And Zaleski KO'd Sean Strickland. Like, Zaleski is just so dynamic. He hits as hard as a truck. He just can go for days. He's just constantly dangerous the entire fight. And so I actually think for that reason, I think Zaleski might actually have a better chance at a finish. Zaleski has a good chin too. You're definitely right. He has been taking damage, and he might be due for a knockout. But I'm high on Curtis, man. I do think he's like a top 15 guy. He's so talented. He's huge for the weight class. He has it down, man. I don't know. I'm not completely sold to think that he should be the favorite against Zaleski in this matchup. I think Zaleski will probably be throwing more, probably going to be the more exciting fighter. I think the crowd's going to be oohing and ahhing when he's throwing all kinds of crazy shit in the octagon. Who knows? Maybe that sways the judges. I just don't know. I don't know if this fight's going to end by knockout or end by decision. I kind of am curious on the odds on that. It's probably very close. Of course, my phone's going slow right now, but yeah, man, I actually think, resume wise and all that good stuff, I think Zaleski should be the favorite here, just not by much. So I'm going to go with Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, man. The Brazilian. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. I love this guy, man. I can't, and I bet him against Sean Strickland. I bet Zaleski a lot, man, and he's came through. I want to say I'm like 3-0 or 4-0 betting on Zaleski. I can't do it here, man. No, I cannot fade Curtis Millender. He's just looking so sharp. He's in the prime of his career. I just want to sit back and enjoy this one, because this is a great fight, man. Whoever wins this fight, like, sky's the limit. Like, they're gonna go far for sure. But I wish yeah, for sure. But if one guy wins impressively here, man, like
top 10.
They're in the title picture. The top 5 picture at least.
Zaleski's 14th. Wonder was ranked, but he's not anymore. Yeah, Wonders, I think, just like has the reach advantage for sure. I just think he's going to fight long. all those wars, man, from Zaleski's taken, I think are just going to catch up to him. And I think he has a good chin, but I think he's taking way too much damage. And I forgot to mention Millender's head kicks. I mean, that left head kick he had, I know he had it against some multiple guys in LFA, but I mean, his knees, his head kicks, his hands, his jab. Forgot to mention his jab. I mean, his striking is really, really good. And I think he has a great chin as well. And his defense is pretty good too. Okay, he is tall, and he does get hit, but I think it's gonna be hard for Zaleski to hurt him and get him down.
Man, I'll say this: Curtis Millender has not seen anything like Zaleski dos Santos before. But I mean, I guess on the other side, Zaleski hasn't really seen anything quite like Curtis. So this is a good fucking fight, man.
You know what's funny is I'm thinking about it right now. I think Zaleski's the best fighter Millender's fought. And I think Millender's the best fighter Zaleski's fought. Who's the best guy Zaleski's beaten? Let's see.
No, you're probably right about that, man.
I think I'm right. I mean, Sean Strickland? No, Chris Millender's better than Sean Strickland. Who else has he beaten? Omari? Chris Millender's better than Omari.
Your boy.
Who else?
I mean, good.
Get out of here, bro. Milender would smoke one good. Askren? What?
I said Max
Griffin. Max Griffin.
Hey, it was the Max Griffin performance that really like opened up my eyes on Millender. Like, wow, this guy's fucking really good. It was that performance.
He lost the first round. Yeah, he lost the first round against Max Griffin, but the second and third just picked him apart. He should have gotten out of there, bro. He had Max like trying to find a way out in that third round. Yeah, man. I think it's both of their hardest, their toughest opponent right now. Has to be.
I would agree.
Let's see what happens. Call that main event.
So we got the main event of the evening. I don't have the odds pulled up right now, but I want to say JDS is around a minus 220, 230 favorite. Derek Lewis around a plus 200, plus 190. Man, I think that line's probably about right. I think JDS is probably going to be able to go out there and do what JDS does, and that's pick apart out of shape heavyweights. That's what we got here. But hey, am I going to be surprised if Derek Lewis knocks out JDS 24 minutes and 45 seconds into this fight? I don't think I will, man. Derek Lewis is the most dangerous heavyweight of all time. I mean, we're talking about a guy who can literally end the fight at any second. He actually, in my opinion, has underrated cardio. You look at that Shamil Abdurrahimov fight. He was getting out wrestled. He was getting laid on by a 250-pound guy, and he showed toughness, heart, and he knocked Shamil out. Lewis has some underrated performances, and hey, he wins fights, man. Like, I faded him hard. I went big on Travis Brown against him, and it was looking really good with Travis Brown with those body kicks, and that's really something Lewis is susceptible to that I think JDS might be able to take advantage of with the body strikes, punches, and kicks. I completely forgot where my train of thought was, man, but I just think JDS is 100 times more technical on the mat, on the feet. It's just a matter of, can Derek Lewis find that chin? That's really what it is. It's a puncher's chance, and in my opinion, that's such a high level. Like, we're talking top 10 guys, and one of those guys is a puncher's chance. I would say the other guy at least has to be minus 200 in this spot. So, yeah, I definitely like JDS. I will not be taking the shot on Derek Lewis here, although it definitely could happen. I'm not paying the juice on JDS here. You definitely don't see me doing that. That guy is definitely he's not shot by any means, but I mean, he's seen better days is what I'm saying. I think quite possibly a USADA victim. It is heavyweight, so we don't want to say he's old. He's actually young for the division, but his chin is definitely seen better days, and Derek Lewis can take advantage of that. It's a great main event, man. I think it's just a total pass. I mean, for DraftKings, I mean, definitely it's a main event. It's a heavyweight fight. You got to go big on both guys here, but I will be taking just a little bit more of JDS here. I mean, even if he doesn't get a finish here, 5 rounds of picking the guy apart, he should still clear over 100 points. So JDS for the win, man. I will have I'll probably have him in like 60% of my lineups.
I've seen guys on Twitter say that they want to max JDS here. I don't know what you guys are talking about at all. I think this is a very, very, very close fight, and I do think that JDS is the better fighter. I think that he is more technical. I think he has more ways to win, but I think Derek Lewis is more durable. I think Derek Lewis is going to win this fight. I'm going with Derek Lewis. I think JDS. And look at his last fight against Tuivasa. He got hurt in that fight too. Derek Lewis, man, his chin, like he can take a beating. Look at the Volkov fight. Look at the Ty Burrett fight. I think JDS is going to beat his ass, and then he's going to get knocked out. So, cardio wise, like Derek Lewis, man, like his cardio has been improving, man. The guy's been 5 rounds. JDS has been 5 rounds too, but I mean, look at all the wars that JDS has been in, man. That damage meter, man. Like, when's the last time Derek Lewis got KO'd? Long time ago, man. He just got starts in DC. That's DC, the champ. Derek Lewis has been had an impressive run. He really has. The Mark Hunt fight, that wasn't the best win, or the best loss. But I mean, Derek Lewis has had back problems. He was eating fried chicken before the fight. I think Derek Lewis is going to get in his face. He's going to get aggressive out there. I think he's going to go out there and hurt him, man. So I got Derek Lewis. I think he's going to get a first round finish, but it's going to be a comeback first round finish. I think it's going to be a back and forth fight. JDS is going to have his moments. He has a good jab, good striking, but JDS doesn't like to get hit, man. His chin is definitely deteriorated. So I got Derek Lewis fight piece. So to recap my bets, I got 4 units on Millender plus 100, 3 units on Nico Price at plus 165, and 3 units on Grant at minus 190. What about you?
Yeah, man, I got the 2-unit underdog play on Lewis Smolka plus 110, 2 units on Omari Akmedov minus 130, and 2 units on Beneil Dariush at minus 185. I know all 2-unit plays, but hey, man, this card isn't the best in my opinion. So just a light week for me. I just need 2 out of 3 of my plays to cash, and I think it happens, man. Team bro picks. It's funny, we're not going against each other. We're not on the same side at all. We each have 3 plays, and it's 6 different fights.
Yeah, man. Next week we're probably gonna have at least 1 or 2 plays on the same side. I have, I'm taping the card right now, and I have about 3 or 4 potential plays, and all of them I think are underdogs so far. So I think next week's underdog city. I'll tell you that right now. All right, guys. Let us know in the comments below. Let us know, man. Who you guys want us to do roundtables with in the future. Let us know who you guys got in, main event in every fight. Let us know, who you guys got in Millender fight, who you guys got in Nico Price fight. About 85% of the population, 85% of Twitter on Tim Meme. So if Nico Price was out there and, does what he does, and most of his wins, gets a win. I mean, he finds a way to get the finish. He finds a way to get the job done. He's not the prettiest fighter. He's not the most technical fighter, but the dude is a all-out warrior, man. So I hope he gets a win. I think he does. And peace out. We'll be back next week. Later, guys.